Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's full moon in Sidereal Cancer guided releasing practice. I'm Phaedra. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the group if you're new to the Sidereal Insights astrology community here on Facebook. I'm going to take just a moment to get the live broadcast pulled up here on my laptop so that I can follow along with your comments and questions. I know there's some folks who are planning on joining live tonight. And this way I won't have to try to follow your comments on the phone because sometimes they don't always show up on the phone. Here we go. And I think I have this muted on my computer. However, I have a totally new setup in this rearranged office. So for those of you who are joining me live, if you want to let me know that you can hear me and see me okay, that'd be awesome, because I made some changes to the sound setup in theory that will prevent any issue of no volume like we had a couple broadcasts ago. Hopefully you can hear me. I think I have it all set up just fine at this point. It was a learning curve trying to set things up with the new office. Anyway, so I have the broadcast here. I'm going to grab my notes real quick, and then we'll just kind of dive right in. And I didn't update my document on my laptop. It looks like I just scribbled some notes on the chart in front of me. So we're going to kind of wing it tonight talking about the full moon in Cancer. But let me welcome everyone to the broadcast. Oh, good. I'm glad you can see me and hear me okay. And I'm glad you can join me tonight, Jonna. And I see William's here and Mary Ann. Good to have you all with me. And I hope you can all hang out for the broadcast. So I'm Phaedra. I'm the astrologer and artist of Mystick, Physick, Astrology. For those of you who might be new to the broadcast or new to the group or new to the YouTube channel. So I use Western Sidereal astrology in my practice. And so that's why we're doing the full moon guided releasing practice for the full moon in Cancer tonight. And really what I like to do with my practice is work with folks to help them reconnect with their soul purpose and remember why they came into this world to begin with, why they came into this incarnation to begin with. I just want to help you remember what it was you came here to do, because sometimes we forget. Life gets crazy and hectic and busy and mundane, and we get like Maya on us, right? And we forget why we came. But really, with the broadcast, my aim is to provide guidance for you on how you can consciously use the energy of the transiting planets to affect your life in a positive way. So responding to your transits rather than reacting to them. And the idea behind that with the new and full moon broadcast is that the lunations offer opportunities to take action, or let go of things we've outgrown. And full moons represent opportunities to release old habits, patterns of thought, behavior, release old stagnant energy, situations, people, things that might not be serving us any longer. And so when you take the opportunity that the full moon offers to let go of those things so that you can move on, that makes space in your life for the new to move in. And ultimately for us to learn and grow. And so that's kind of the idea. It's like, you know, cleaning the old stuff out of your closet to make room for, you know, whatever's coming in the new season, rather than going out and getting the next season's clothes and coming home and like, wait, there's no room, right? And then what are you going to do with it? So we're doing a little proactive metaphysical closet cleaning at the full moon. How's that? But since we're using the 𝘄𝗵𝗶𝘀 Zodiac tonight, if you don't have your 𝘄𝗵𝗶𝘀 natal chart, you're going to need that. Here's a link to where you can get it online. If I have my keyboard turned on, hold on. So that's the online calculator at mystickphysick.com/sidereal tools. Just plug in your birth data and you can get a free copy of your sidereal natal chart online. And tonight what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take a three-part approach to the full moon releasing. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about this particular full moon and the astrology of it and how we might feel it play out, or how it might affect us, or how we might be able to use it. In part 2 of tonight's broadcast, what we'll do is we'll recap for each of you according to your sidereal rising sign which house this full moon is falling into and what the themes of that house are, in case you're not familiar with house systems in astrology, or in case you don't have the house system memorized in astrology. And then in part 3, what we're going to do is we're going to explore the Cancer archetype, Cancer themes, and some prompts that we can use to consider in letting go of whatever it is that might not be serving us any longer in our lives. And so what we're going to do In part one of the broadcast is I kind of, well, throughout the entire broadcast, all three parts, we're going to identify the Cancer archetype and theme that's most relevant to you. And you'll know because as we touch on Cancer archetypes and themes, the ones most relevant to you are going to resonate, right? We're going to help you recognize where you've been avoiding things or hiding out, right? Or just kind of sidestepping things in your life that maybe you really need to face head on. And we're going to look at releasing any fears that we have around, especially around vulnerability, or especially around being seen, that might be keeping us stuck in our shell, right? So what I want you to do is grab a pen and paper, your sidereal natal chart. Hopefully you brought a beverage. And together what we're going to do is use this particular full moon to let go of things that aren't serving us any longer. And so grab your sidereal natal chart and let's just kind of dive in to part one, the full moon in Cancer. And this is where I don't have my notes because I was just scribbling them on this chart that I have printed out right here. See? So this full moon's in Cancer, right? Well, the moon rules Cancer. So the moon is quite comfortable there. It's at home. So that in and of itself is kind of a positive thing. We have a well-placed moon at the full moon. The ruler of the full moon is well-placed in that regard. But full moons in Cancer can tend to be kind of emotional. They can kind of bring our needs to the surface a little bit more. We might be a little bit more touchy about that kind of stuff. And this particular full moon, the moon is trine Mars just as Mars is moving into Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. So typically water and fire don't really mix all that well as elements. However, what I think this has going for it is the fact that Mars is kind of functioning more as a benefic in this case, because we're dealing with a night chart for the full moon. And we have a nice trine aspect. So I think we have this kind of easy, helpful energy where we might feel the urge to take initiative or to take action towards something, right? We're talking about an active principle with Mars, with fire signs. We're talking about an active principle with cardinal signs, which of course Cancer is a cardinal sign. So there's an energetic component to this full moon that's full of this desire to move, right? So this is partly where some of the emotionality can come in, because you could see a tendency to moodiness with the coupling of that just movable, active, do, go, express kind of mode of energy in such an emotional sign as Cancer, especially one representing the mother, representing family, representing nurturing, and where we want to feel safe and kind of cocooned, right? So watch for this. Take the initiative where the opportunities present themselves and be conscious about it. I would caution you that it would be really, really easy to just kind of go with the flow on this full moon and not really accomplish anything, not really kind of do much of anything, just because it is kind of an easygoing full moon. But there's potential there if you take action to finish up or bring to fulfillment whatever you have going on in your Cancer ruled house. Then you can really tap into this beneficial energy and kind of build that into the end result of what you're doing. And it could be quite supportive with Mars doing its best to support the moon in the aspects that we have going on tonight. What I would like you to kind of think about with regards to this full moon is, what can you do in your personal life to set the stage for success? Okay. I want you to just be aware that this full moon can really kind of stimulate the mind. So this could be like active imagination. This could be just like an increase in mental activity, or just kind of engaging ideas, especially big ideas. And they're kind of an expressive nature, active and outgoing to this full moon, with Mars catching the trine of the moon right as he's moving into Sagittarius, right? That big expansive energy. And what is the moon? The moon is our emotional nature. It's our mental state, right? Our mindset. And so this is kind of expansive and more open-minded, I think, type of full moon for us than what we might otherwise see. Cancer being a very kind of defensive sign by nature, right? So with this full moon, that really kind of wraps up what we're seeing in the chart. So we can kind of wrap up part 1 there, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to part 2. And so in part 2, for those of you who are more familiar with the houses, you can take a break, you can go refill your drink, whatever it is you need to do. If you're not as familiar, stick around, because we're going to cover which house and what the themes of that house are for you according to your sidereal rising signs.